So, here we are in 2025, and crypto is caught in this massive identity crisis. You know, on one hand, it's still this renegade, world-changing technology that's supposed to bank the unbanked. But on the other hand, it's becoming just another box to check in a Wall Street portfolio. And these two very different versions of crypto, well, they're on a collision course.
Yeah, for years now, crypto has kind of been living this double life. It's like there are these two parallel universes. In one, you've got the individual, the retail investor, the person sending money home to their family, the die-hard tech idealist. And in the other universe, you have the institutions, the hedge funds, the big banks, the asset managers. And right now, in 2025, those two worlds are crashing right into each other.
So, why should you care about this collision? Well, it comes down to this number, $4 trillion. As of August 2025, that's the estimated size of the entire crypto market. This is not some fringe hobby anymore, folks. It's a massive global economic force. And how this collision plays out is pretty much going to define the future of money as we know it. And this right here, this is the heart of the conflict. Is crypto a lifeline? Is it a tool to give financial access to people who've been totally left behind by the system? Or is it just a shiny new toy for Wall Street to play with, to package up and sell? The crazy thing is, in 2025, it's trying to be both at the same time, and that's creating some serious tension, and of course, a ton of opportunity.
All right, so let's dive into that first universe, the world of the individual. For them, crypto is this wild mix of a high-stakes gamble, a revolutionary dream, and, for some, a really practical tool.
For individuals, especially in the developing world, the appeal of crypto is just undeniable. Think about it. All you need is an internet connection, and suddenly you have access to financial services. No bank required. It makes sending money across borders, what we call remittances, way faster and cheaper. And, maybe most importantly, it promises decentralization, which is just a fancy way of saying you have more control over your own cash. And of course, there's always that chance, that lure, of absolutely life-changing returns.
Okay, now what's really fascinating here is just how concentrated this whole market is. You hear about thousands and thousands of different altcoins, right? But the reality is, Bitcoin and Ethereum are the absolute giants in the room. Together, they make up almost 70% of the entire market. For most individuals just getting started, these are the two names they know, the two they trust, or at least trust the most. But here's the catch. That promise of huge returns comes with a pretty brutal flip side, insane volatility. And this isn't some abstract risk. Look at this. In just 1 month back in 2022, Bitcoin, which is supposed to be the safest one, dropped by more than a third. Imagine that's your life savings. That kind of swing can be absolutely devastating for a regular person. And believe me, the dangers do not stop there. Unlike your bank account, there's no government insurance if your crypto gets stolen. Hacks, scams, they are everywhere. And if you make a mistake, send your crypto to the wrong address, or fall for a scam, that's it. It's gone. Forever. There's no customer service number to call, no one to reverse the transaction. You are your own bank, which sounds great, but it means you get all the freedom and you carry all of the risk.
So how in the world do people actually manage all this? Well, they basically build their portfolios based on how much risk they can stomach. A low-risk strategy means you're parking most of your money in Bitcoin. But as you get more adventurous, you see the mix change dramatically. You start moving into more speculative stuff like DeFi, AI tokens, and even tokenized real-world assets. The key thing to remember is that for an individual, it's a very personal bet on risk versus reward.
Okay, let's completely switch gears and jump into that other universe, the world of institutional finance. Here, it is not a gamble. It is all about structure, strategy, and just massive, massive scale. If you want one number to really grasp the scale we're talking about, here it is, $27.4 billion. That's how much money professional investors are holding in US Bitcoin ETFs alone. This isn't just dipping a toe in the water. This is a huge strategic commitment from the biggest players in finance. And guess what? It's not slowing down. A recent survey shows that a whopping 75% of these institutional investors are planning to buy more crypto. And even more telling, almost a quarter of them are planning to significantly increase their positions. The big money is here, and it looks like they're digging in for the long haul.
So how are they doing it? Well, it's not by chasing meme coins on social media, I'll tell you that. They're using these tried and true financial models, like what's called the core satellite strategy. The idea is actually pretty simple. You build a big, stable foundation with reliable assets, that's your core,
And then you use smaller, more strategic bets on riskier things, your satellites, to go hunting for those higher returns.
And this shows you exactly how they're applying that model to crypto. A solid 60% goes to the blue chips, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Then 30% is spread out across a whole mix of different altcoins and other protocols. And here's the really smart part. A critical 10% is just kept in cash-like things, like stablecoins, earning a little bit of yield and just waiting, ready to be deployed when the market takes a dive. It's a calculated, methodical, risk-managed game.
So what flipped the switch? What gave these giant institutions the green light to jump in with both feet? Well, this quote from U.S. banks says it all. Greater regulatory clarity. You see, the arrival of big money is directly linked to the creation of rules, which, naturally, brings us to the third major player in this whole collision.
Right. So as these two worlds, the individual and the institutional, smash into each other, you've got governments all over the planet scrambling to write a rulebook for a technology that, frankly, couldn't care less about borders.
This mad dash to regulate is really being driven by two things: the sheer size of the market and the demands from all those big players for some clear rules of the road. The problem? Progress is happening in these weird fits and starts all over the globe, creating this messy patchwork of different laws.
And this chart from the Financial Stability Board really shows you just how fragmented it all is. We're talking about the world's major financial centers here, and only 11 of them have actually finalized their rules for things like crypto exchanges. And what about stablecoins, which are like the backbone of the whole ecosystem? Only 5. This is not a unified global plan. It's more like every country for itself.
That being said, things are moving. You're seeing huge financial hubs like Singapore, the US, Hong Kong, and the UK all start to roll out some serious new laws. So the big takeaway here is that regulation isn't a question of if anymore. It's really just a question of when and how.
But, and this is a big but, even where we have these new rules, the Financial Stability Board is pointing out some critical gaps. A lot of the really high-risk stuff, like crypto lending, is often just left out completely. Half of these places don't even have the basic reporting setup to monitor risk. And maybe the biggest problem of all? Countries aren't really cooperating with each other, which is a massive issue when you're dealing with a global 24/7 market.
Okay, so we've looked at the individual, we've looked at the institution, and we've looked at the regulators. Let's put it all together. What does this mean for the future of crypto, and for anyone who actually holds it in their wallet?
Well, here's the main takeaway. The chaotic, anything-goes, Wild West days of crypto are pretty much over. What's taking its place is something entirely new. It's this hybrid system that's trying to blend the decentralized, open spirit of crypto with the structure and the rules of old-school finance.
Which, of course, brings us to the biggest question of all in this whole collision. What is the future of crypto really going to be? Is it going to be the decentralized freedom that all the early believers dreamed of? Or is it just going to become another branch of highly regulated institutional finance?
The honest answer is, it's probably going to be both. Those two universes are merging into one. But as they do, a brand new rulebook is being written. And the most important question for all of us is this: who are those new rules really being written for? Is it for the individual who's searching for financial freedom? Or is it for the institution that's searching for a structured, profitable new asset? The answer to that question is what will shape the next decade of finance.